guys, it's Carly from All the Pretty Books. I know it's been a very long time and my lighting in here is such crap, so I apologize. It's very, very dim and it creates really weird shadows, and anyway, it is what it is. But I have this really cool book and I really wanted to show you guys, so that's going to be what we do. And it is this week's translation of the show. If you follow the podcast that I co-host with Melanie and Eric, it is our translation of the show or tots for this week. So it's a very nice tie-in and it's one of my favorite books that I have on my shelf. So let's get to it. It's this book right here. It is literally falling out of my hands. And for those who don't know, it is the German all-in-one by Carlsen Verlag, which is the publisher of all of the Harry Potter books in German. They do such a spectacular job. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I love this book. I love everything about this book. It is such a neat thing, although it is really, really heavy. Like, it is literally falling out of my hands. I'm having to rest it on my shoulder because it is multiple pounds. I don't know how many, but it is over 3,000 pages, well over 3,000 pages. So it's a lot, but we'll get into why I love this book beside the cover art, which is also pretty dang cool. So this book was published by Carlsen Verlag, which is the German book publisher. They are the ones who have published all the Harry Potter books from the very first edition until now. Sometimes most of their cover art is done by Sabine Wilhelm. The 20th anniversary was not, and this one, of course, is not as well. I actually don't know. Look at these end papers, you guys. And the end papers are different on the other side, which is really neat. Like, the German books are just always incredible. Also, what's interesting about this book is that it's all books. It's 1 through 7 in one volume. That's why it's like huge. So one of the things that I wasn't prepared for when this book came was how I could feel all of the raised portions of the gold. And it feels so nice when I rub my fingers over it. Also the purple, it's this nice, flat, smooth, kind of buttery texture. It doesn't leave prints behind really, although it does smudge a little bit if you can see there. That's kind of meh, but I really do like it. Also, for as detailed as it is, the lines are very, very, very crisp and clean. There's not a lot of, actually, there's not any real blur. You know what's going on here in the picture, right? It's just so pretty. Also, because Carlsen thinks of everything when they make books, look at these end papers here on this side. And it just gets better, you guys. And we discussed this a bit more on the podcast, actually quite a bit more with Melanie and Eric. But the paper itself, it's all 7 volumes, and there's well over 3,000 pages in this book. That's a lot for a book spine to handle. That's a lot to put together. That's a lot, you know, you have to consider so many different things like ink and paper thickness and paper quality. Because if you're going to have a thin paper, you want to have a good paper quality. And I would say that they did it. It's not super transparent. This is one page and you can, I mean, it's thin, but it's not super transparent, which I appreciate. So it makes it easier to read. Instead of seeing what's on the page behind it, you still can see a little bit of bleed through from the other side, but it's not going to get in the way of the wording here should you want to read this book. Also, look at the art here on the edges. I think that's super cool. There's a better shot. You can see it. Sorry, guys, I don't have any of my video stuff. I'm just kind of doing this on the fly because the book is so cool. And then as you flip through, the spine is so well designed that it is meant to go with the book as you're reading it, right? And of course, this changes. How neat is that? And as you keep going through, not only do the corner art does the corner art change, but the spine bends to accommodate, or this not bend, but the spine moves to accommodate as you're reading, which is really well thought out when you're making a book this big and that has to handle this many pages. It's really well done. And then as you get toward the end, I just love this book. As you get toward the end, you can adjust it and you can still read it pretty easily, right? Without having to shift it a whole lot, which I think is really cool. You know, you can prop it up and voila, there it is. So very, very cool. There's the end papers here, which Super, super, super cool. They're different from the end papers at the front or the front end papers. This is the back end papers. And here's the back of the book, which is beautiful and different from the front of the book. And there's your spine. Like, how beautiful is this? Excuse the mess in the back or foreground, background, whatever. I've got some organizing to do, and there's a ribbon bookmark. You can't really get much better than that. What did you guys think of this book? Do you have this book? Do you own this book? Do you want this book? I'll put the links to buy down below. It's not rare. You can buy it at most Amazons, and it is one that it was a no-brainer for me. I had to have it on my shelves because it is so cool. I've got to put it down. I would love to see more books like this come to pass from other translations, maybe even out of the US, although I would like new cover art. I think there's so many neat artistic opportunities to do books like this. Now that, you know, the books have way been published, we're into 25 years of this series. There's so much room to grow artistically, so many different ways to interpret things and show things off, reinterpret how our favorite characters are. I would love to see more of these, as long as they're well made like this one. This one, I'm so glad Carlson did it first, because again, like I showed you guys, you can be on literally any page. The book is readable, right? The spine moves, not bends. The spine moves as you read the book, which is so important when you have a book with that many pages and that is that heavy. The spine is durable. It can handle it. The paper is good. It's very sound. The ink is nice. It smells really, really good, which we discuss on the podcast. So make sure to check that out. And I will put this book through the Todd scale. Really fun. And I'll put the link to where you can buy this book and, of course, the podcast down below because it's really fun. I have a hair in my eye. I apologize. So with that, I'm going to say thanks for watching. You guys are fabulous, and happy 24. And yeah, happy collecting.